All right, without further ado, let's get into Sunday's games, man. And the Sunday games kicked off at 3:30 Eastern time, and we got the Lakers and the Memphis Grizzlies, man. And the Lakers, they had a day, man. First and foremost, so Sunday's games were kind of marred by injury, I guess, for lack of a better term, man. Or a couple of the games were anyway. In this game, the first injury we thought, I told you, so I'm a Laker fan, full disclosure, right? I told you guys that previously. When I made my predictions about the first round, I chose Memphis, right? How could you be a Laker fan and do that? The reason I did this occurred in late in the second quarter, man. Kind of routine play, man. Going for a rebound, I think, or a loose ball. Anthony Davis comes up lame or not lame. I guess he was walking, but pulls up with his arm, can't move it. He says he mouths, I can't move, feel my arm, and ends up leaving, going back to the locker room. And Twitter is ablaze. Everyone's upset that Mr. Glass has reappeared in our lives here for LA. And this is how frail the Lakers' championship chances are, man. Like, that was a routine play. He got hit on the arm, it looks like, by Jaren Jackson, I think, just reaching for a loose ball. And the season was almost felt like over with right then. The Lakers were trailing at the time. You know, they came out hot early on, but at the time they were trailing. And yeah, man, it just kind of looked like Jesus Christ. Like, the first game this is gonna happen. We just saw this happen 2 years ago when they were up 2-1, and he got hurt against Phoenix in the series that they were the 2-7 again in that one as well. So you know, it just kind of comes down to this: are you able to stay healthy? Anthony Davis did return in the second half, and him along with LeBron, and actually the two stars of this game were Rui Hachimura, who dropped 29, career high 29, I think, by the way, off the bench. How many threes did he hit? He went 5 or 6 from three. 5 or 6 from three for Rui Hachimura, man. Not necessarily known as a 3-point marksman, but he went crazy in that game. And Mr. I'm him, Mr. AR-15, Mr. Austin Powers, Austin Reeves, man, he had a day as well. He dropped 23 in the game. And Austin Reeves is a really good basketball player, man. I saw Dame tweet that out, like, oh, okay, Austin, my bad. Like, like I said, I'm in a group chat with two of my homeboys, man. We kind of talk basketball and just life in general. And we were chatting throughout the game. And I was like, okay, man, like, Austin Reeves, I guess. I haven't been sold on Austin Reeves per se. I think he's a good player, but of course he gets the Anglo-Saxon bump in the NBA, where you see guys like Alex Caruso get that bump sometimes. You know, it's not a lot of American-born white players in the league that people can root for. The Lakers seem to find them in bunches, I guess. They had Alex Caruso. He was a fan favorite. They let him go, and he's doing his thing in Chicago now, out of thin air. Well, from Wichita State, I guess. Austin Reeves has come, and he's doing his thing. He's a baller, though, man. He's a kind of big enough wing, can do some things, and he knows how to play. And if you're with LeBron is like a basketball savant, man. So he can if you can play and you play with him, he can get you going. Or he's gonna, sometimes let you cook and do your thing. And he's kind of the perfect guy. He can handle the ball enough, make enough plays, and go get a bucket. And he got enough of those buckets, man. And the Lakers come up victorious in the game one. They steal home court right away, 128-112. And Memphis is in trouble, man. They are already without Steven Adams. They're already without Brandon Cook, who's out with a torn Achilles. Steven Adams, they've said, is out for the playoffs as well. So they already kind of came into this with a deficiency as far as their front court with their bigs. And you see Rui Hachimura going crazy. You see AD having a great game. AD is probably going to have his way. And Jaren Jackson has been a foul magnet in his career, but he actually played pretty well in this game to Jaren Jackson. I think he dropped 30 in the game, 31. Yep, second career playoff game for 30 or more points for him. In that fourth quarter, Ja Morant goes up for one of his death-defying, I'm going to put you on a post of dunks. And AD got there before he could, take off. Right as he's taking off, takes the charge. And Morant, who already had his hand wrapped, I'm not sure what the injury was previous to it, why he had his hand wrapped, but tries to break his fall, lands on his hand, and you can kind of see it bend in a crazy way, man, and he immediately runs off the court like in pain, holding his hand. So I have not gotten an update as of yet on what's going on with the hand, and if he's going to be able. He didn't return, so now the thing about the Grizzlies is they've played without Ja. Obviously, last year they had one of the best records. I think they were 22-1 at one point or something without him, before losing a couple games late at the end of the season. But this year they had the suspension that he had and played without him, and they got probably the best backup point guard in the league in Tyus Jones. He always leads the league in assist to turnover ratio. So he's a steady guy. He's played in big games. He's won a national championship with Duke. When he played with Justice Winslow and Jaleel Okafor, excuse me. Jaleel Okafor, one time for Jaleel Okafor, man. The big man is out of the league now. But yeah, it's Tyus Jones is a very formidable backup and probably could start on a lot of teams, actually. So, but you lose that dynamic guy that you just kind of need, and the stir that straws the drink, I guess, for lack of a better term, when you lose Ja. So they had this happen to him last year as well in the second round against Golden State, and hot take, I guess, or not so hot, because Ja misses a lot of games. That's why you heard me say they were 22-1 or something without him last year. He may be like Mr. Glass too, man. And I won't even say Mr. Glass. I think he's so, like, he's 6'2", 6'3", but he's like really kind of slim and not bulky and not very big. And he hits the ground a lot. When you're doing all that, you going in the paint like that, man, and you doing those death-defying moves, and you flying through the air like that. You catch one of them big 7-footers, a big guy like AD, and they knock you out of the air, it's going to cause some injury, man. So he's had some injury issues in his career already, and it's just kind of unfortunate because you want to see both teams at as much full strength as possible, so you can kind of get a real series, man, see what it is. But truthfully, like I said, I was worried about injuries on the other end. If AD's healthy and LeBron is healthy, I don't think Memphis would have beat them at full strength anyway, especially without Steven Adams. And I don't think they would have beaten with Steven Adams because AD can be that good. So, yeah, that was that game. From there, we went to another game that involved some injury, man. The Miami Heat, who looked like they were dead to rights, right? On last Tuesday when they got smoked at home by Atlanta. They made it a little closer, but Atlanta was, up by as many as 24 points in that play-in game. I got kind of worried if they were going to even beat Chicago, but they handled Chicago, got a quick turnaround, got to go to Milwaukee, and they go into Milwaukee and win game one behind my guy, Mr. Buckets, man, Jimmy Buckets. He's the man. They win that game 130-117. And so Giannis goes up kind of in similar vein to what Ja Morant did, but he ends up flipping backwards and falls on his tailbone. It broke his butt bone. No, he didn't. He was unable to continue in the game after that. Tried to come back for a brief moment, but wasn't able to keep going. Went back to the back again. Giannis is like a tank, man. So if he has to go to the back or is coming off the court, usually it's pretty serious. Now, the crazy thing is this is the third time these two teams have met in the playoffs. And, of course, the first time was in the bubble. And believe it or not, I don't have any video evidence of this, but I probably can find an old text or something that I said, I like Miami to beat the number one seeded Bucks in that series. I think it's a horrible matchup for the Bucks. And they wound up smoking them. Giannis got hurt in that series, I think in game 3, but that series is already pretty much over with. They were already up 2-0. Following year, they meet again on a championship run for the Bucks, and the Bucks smoked them. I think they may have swept them in that series. Maybe Miami won one, but Jimmy looked horrible. It was like, oh, what is Miami going to do? They got smoked by Milwaukee in that, and I think my thinking was Milwaukee's going to smoke them again. But especially the way Miami's looked all season, the way the Bucks have looked all year. They got the best player. They have the best player that plays the most consistently. I'll give you my best player take a little bit later after this. But yeah, this may be a dog fight. I'm not even gonna say it's a dog fight. I take that back. I still don't believe in Miami. Okay. I think that Miami has taken their one game in this series. Probably they may get another game. I'm not too worried about. I mean, if Giannis should be able to come back from that. I mean, he's probably a little sore. He'll get a couple days off, and then hopefully get back to it. But yeah, I still got Milwaukee taking that series. I just think Jimmy gave him 35. Man, I'm going to start a campaign either, and I know Miami said that they're looking to add another star to their team. So, I don't know who, like Dame, maybe I keep seeing Dame. Dame has said he doesn't want to go anywhere, but Jimmy and Dame would be fun. It would be fun, man. But Jimmy's at that age where, if he's going to win a chip, it's going to probably have to be in the next couple years, year or two. He's got that big contract, man. And, I don't know that Miami has a path to kind of add the guys they need to add. So it may be time to look at, do we move Jimmy and try to bring in some assets to kind of revamp and do this thing again at this point. But also in that game, Tyler Hero, who was cooking, I think he had 12 points in 19 minutes before he got injured. He breaks his hand in the game, and he is out 4 to 6 weeks. So another injury. You got Ja Morant, the ghost of AD, who almost got hurt. And then you lose Giannis in this game, who should be back for game 2, hopefully. We'll see. And you also lose Tyler Hero as well. But yeah, to recap, man, the Heat are up right now, 1-0 in that series, and we'll see what happens, man. But I still, like I said, I don't trust Miami still, man. I'm going with the Bucks still to win that series and go from there. And we got the next game. My guy, I'm gonna say this, right? I've been calling this guy this, and it's not a hot take at all, because when he plays, he has been this kind of player. The Clippers took on the Phoenix Suns, and everybody said Phoenix was favored. Everybody loved Phoenix. I told you I didn't like Phoenix in this series, right? Or not in this series. I said I don't like Phoenix overall. Now, I did pick them to win the series, I think, but that was based on kind of Paul George and being out, and just, Phoenix does have a formidable two-headed monster, I'll say, in Devin Booker and KD. Freudian slip there, right? Let me apologize first and foremost to the great Kawhi, Michael, Jeffrey, Jordan, Leonard. Kawhi Jordan showed up again, man. That's who the guy is, man. 38 points. I mean, Russ tried to shoot him out of the game. It didn't matter. And Russ played big in this game too, made some big defensive plays. The play of the game, that block at the end of the game, man, and then he throws it off Devin Booker too. So shout out to Russ too, man. I used to root for the Clippers back in the day when they had the knuckleheads, man. Shout out to D Miles and Quentin Richardson as well. But yes, man, I will say this. I believe that Kawhi Jordan is, when healthy, and definitely playoff time, he is the best playoff player in the NBA today in the NBA. 3-4 years ago, he just is that guy, man. When he's healthy, he proves and does what he needs to do. So I'm gonna say this, man. I think the Clippers may take this series, man. It may be quick work for Phoenix, and Phoenix doesn't have a bench. When you put that kind of team together, it's a lot like, it kind of reminds me of the Heat when they first put together their big three, right? And I say big three. I love Chris Paul, but I think he may be past his prime at this point. I use that term loosely because I love Chris Paul, right? But you really got Devin Booker and Kevin Durant kind of doing their thing, and Ayton and Chris Paul at times may be able to give you something, but the Clippers are a very deep team, man. Even without Paul George, they can throw Batum at you. I told you they can throw Robert Covington at KD. They're gonna throw the house sink at them if they need to, man. You can put Kawhi on them whenever you want to. So even without Paul George, they still got some pieces. I like the kid Terrence, man, and most importantly, I like Ty Lue. Ty Lue is proven. He's done this before. He's a guy that understands what it takes to win in these big moments. Only coach to ever come back from 3-1 down in the finals. Now, of course, he had Kyrie and he had LeBron, but he got Kawhi Jordan right now, man. So who's probably even colder than LeBron, man. I'm gonna go ahead and say it, man. Kawhi Jordan, that's my guy, right? So he's just stoic after the game. He says, yeah, Russ made big plays for us. And shout out to Russ, man. When Russ came in there and Chuck was fawning all over him, That was crazy, by the way. With his shirt out, Russ came like he wanted to be the star, man. And you got to be a star on your role. Now he went 3 for 19, so he was sneaking it up as far as shooting it, right? But you still got to do other things. The rebounding portion of the game that he just was in there crashing, getting offensive rebounds was huge for them. And also the other portion that made a big deal was defensively, man. Russ has always been a great athlete, and when he wants to, he can lock in defensively. Hear people talk crap about his defense, but when he wants to lock in and he's focused and needs to do what he needs to do, he can make plays for you, man. And that block on Devin Booker, that was crazy, man, on that breakaway. It looked like Book was going to get a layup. I'm thinking at least they may call a foul. None of that happened. He got the block, it caught the ball, and threw it off Booker to go out of bounds. And, that kind of sealed the deal at that point, man. So, tremendous win again for the Clippers. They win 115-110. Like I said, Kawhi put up 38 in the game. He's a cold-blooded killer, man. And you don't want to have to be against that guy. I know KD started out real slow. Let me see. KD's numbers were finished with 27, 9, and 11, so not too bad. Shot 46% from the field. He got cooking. KD started cooking at one point, man. And when they went up on, I think they were up by 8, like 78-70. I said, all right, man, maybe the Clippers just had a little bump. But they fought back. And Kawhi, I mean, to have a guy that's your star player that is, the moment's never too big for him. He's never afraid. You got to love that, man. You got to love it. And, yeah, that was a great game. So our last game of the night, right? 100% honesty, full disclosure, I didn't watch this game. And I'm glad I did not stay up to watch the game. I think it ended at 1:15 or something like that. I can't keep doing these 1:15 nights and getting up and, living life as well. So I'm going to get up and record early. So to get this show out to you guys, but 109-80. They put up 80 points, man. This is like a 2003 NBA playoff game, scoring 80 points in a game, man. When you got a $200 million forward center, whatever Karl Anthony Towns is, and he does what he did out there, which was absolutely nothing. 11 points, 10 rebounds. Ant-Man gave you 18. Rudy Gobert gave you 8 and 13, man. You got about $400 million worth of center on that team. You would think they would be able to do something against Jokic. And Jokic didn't even really kill him. It was everybody. I mean, everybody was getting it in. Jokic had 13 and 14. He actually got ejected late in the game for a flagrant one. So we'll see what happens with that. But is Jokic dirty, man? Jokic always kind of playoff time come. Jokic will get in the mud a little bit with you, man. He'll pick up a flagrant. So anyway, I think that series is going to be a walk in the park, man. And I am on a save Ant-Man crusade. As much as, like I said earlier, do we need to get Jimmy out of Miami? Let's get Anthony Edwards out of Minnesota, man. He doesn't deserve this. He's a promising young player, and I don't want to see his career kind of go by the wayside based on him being in that situation with just one of the I don't like to call people dumb. One of the mentally challenged basketball teams, man, and just organizations as well. That trade that they made for Rudy Gobert is probably going to come back to haunt them, and it's a tough thing, man. So we'll see what happens. But that's my playoff preview. We had a great weekend, man. Great weekend of basketball. I got a chance to kick it with some friend, with my homie, and catch the Hawks game. That didn't turn out the way we thought it was. I'm debating if I'm going to go to game 3 or not. That's Friday. I got to see what happens in game 2. I'm going to be 100% honest. Like, if they get smoked again like that, I'm going to push the button and I'm not going. But I know it's going to be a crazy atmosphere. If it's anything like the 2008 series where they got smoked up in Boston, didn't have a chance, and they came back home, it was an exciting time, man. I went to 2 games in that series, and that was a heck of a 2 of the 3 games that Atlanta played against the Boston Celtics back then. I went to those games. It was a great atmosphere. I'm not sure if that will be the same thing this year, but I'm hoping the Hawks, realistically, now I chose the Hawks in 6, right? And I keep saying Hawks in 6, but if I'm taking off my hate for Boston, this probably should be a quick series. Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum are just going to be too much. And when you got, I think Derek White put up 21 or something like that, yeah, who knows what's going to happen with that. So tonight's game, Monday night, tonight, the 2 games that will be going on are Philly and Brooklyn. I think that's at 7 Eastern time. And then the other game is Sacramento and the Golden State. So I will stay up to watch every single one, every minute and second of that series between Golden State and Sacramento. It's fun. It's fun having Sacramento back in the playoffs, man. Arco Arena used to be rocking back in the day. Now I think is it Golden One or Golden Castle or whatever it is they play at now. I can't remember the sponsors, all these stadiums and arenas and stuff. But yeah, they like to be. It's a great atmosphere. It was super. Looking at it on TV, it sounded super loud in there. The atmosphere sounded like it was raucous, and like you said, man, they kind of Golden Stadium said like, this kind of stuff we live for. We enjoy these moments. So that's gonna be a fun series, man. I hope that's a long series. I hope we get 7 games. I hope we get a game 7. And Andrew Wiggins, I didn't mention him previously. Andrew Wiggins came back in that series and made his return, and he looked good. Missed the wide open 3 that could have tied the game up, or put them up by 1, but had a good look. It is what it is, man. It's a make or miss league. But that's my recap for the playoffs, man. Stay tuned. I'm gonna try to make sure I get y'all these recaps every couple of days, just to kind of let you know what's going on, my thoughts on the series. Are they shifting as we shift to the different cities? I'll be back in and kind of tell you where we are, what I think is going to go on, and if my predictions are, sure to go wrong, or will they be right, man? They're going to be right, of course, because why? Earl knows it all. Stay tuned.